Did you know that millions of people around the world experience strange battles they cannot explain? Some feel an overwhelming sense of darkness when they pray. Others find themselves caught in a cycle of struggles, temptations, and failures that seem impossible to break. But here's something that might shock you. Many of these battles are not just physical or emotional, they are spiritual. And what if I told you that everything you thought you knew about spiritual warfare is only part of the truth? Stay with me, because today I'm about to reveal what many people get wrong and how you can truly fight back. Spiritual warfare. Those two words often bring to mind dramatic scenes, people casting out demons, intense prayers, and supernatural battles between light and darkness. And while those things do happen, spiritual warfare is far more than that. It is not just about demons lurking in the shadows or mysterious forces attacking you at night. It is a battle that happens every single day, and it affects your mind, your faith, and even your daily choices. In Ephesians 6 verse 12, the Bible clearly tells us, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world." This means that many of the struggles we face are not just ordinary problems. There are unseen forces trying to pull us away from God, weaken our faith, and keep us bound by fear and confusion. But here's where it gets even more serious. Many people are either too afraid of spiritual warfare or completely ignorant of it. Some live in constant fear of demonic attacks, while others believe it is nothing but superstition. Both of these extremes are dangerous because they keep people from truly understanding how to fight the right way. One of the biggest problems when it comes to spiritual warfare is misunderstanding. A lot of people think spiritual battles only happen in the most dramatic ways: exorcisms, nightmares, or physical attacks. But that is just one side of the story. The truth is, spiritual warfare is happening right now, even in ways you don't realize. It's happening when you suddenly feel unmotivated to pray. It's happening when doubts flood your mind and make you question God's love. It's happening when you keep falling into the same sin over and over again, no matter how much you try to resist. However, because many people do not recognize these things as spiritual warfare, they fight the wrong battles. They get angry at their loved ones, not realizing the enemy is working behind the scenes to stir division. They feel hopeless about their situation, not realizing that doubt and fear are some of the enemy's most powerful weapons. And then, there are those who believe that spiritual warfare is just for super Christians, that only pastors and prayer warriors need to worry about it. But the truth is, if you are a believer, you are already in the battle. The question is, are you fighting back the right way, or are you letting the enemy win without even realizing it? To truly understand spiritual warfare, we need to go back to its origins. This battle did not start today. It has been happening for thousands of years. The Bible tells us that Satan was once an angel, but because of his pride, he was cast out of heaven along with other fallen angels. Ever since then, his mission has been to steal, kill, and destroy. John 10:10. He cannot attack God directly, so instead he goes after God's children. That means you and me. But spiritual warfare does not always look the way we expect. The most dangerous attacks are not always the ones that come in obvious ways. Instead, they are the ones that happen in our thoughts, emotions, and decisions. Have you ever felt suddenly discouraged for no reason? Have you ever experienced a moment where you wanted to pray but felt an unexplainable heaviness stopping you? Have you ever been tempted in such a way that it felt almost impossible to resist? These are not just random moments. They are carefully designed strategies of the enemy. The mind is one of the biggest battlefields in spiritual warfare. That is why the Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians 10:4-5 to cast down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. The enemy knows that if he can control your thoughts, he can control your life. He uses lies, doubts, and temptations to weaken your faith. He whispers things like, "God doesn't love you," or "You will never be free from this struggle." And the moment you start believing those lies, you become defenseless. However, spiritual warfare is not just personal. It happens in families, churches, and even entire nations. Division, confusion, and sin are all ways that the enemy works to keep people far from the truth. This is why understanding how to fight is so important. Because if you do not recognize the battle, you cannot win the war. Now, here is the most important revelation. Spiritual warfare is not just about fighting the devil, it is about submitting to God. Many people focus so much on resisting Satan that they forget the first step. James 4:7 gives us the key. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. Notice that the first instruction is submission, not resistance. This is because our strength does not come from shouting at demons or rebuking the devil with loud prayers. Our strength comes from our relationship with God. The closer we are to God, the weaker the enemy's power over us. Many people try to fight spiritual battles without truly surrendering to God. They want victory, but they do not want to obey. They want breakthroughs, but they do not want to live righteously. However, the truth is, the most powerful way to win spiritual battles is by living in obedience to God's word. The more we align with God's will, the more authority we have over the enemy. So instead of only focusing on rebuking and binding, ask yourself, am I fully submitted to God? Am I filling my mind with His truth? Am I walking in righteousness? Because when you do, the enemy loses his grip on your life. Spiritual warfare is real, and it is happening all around us. However, it is not just about supernatural battles. It is about the daily struggles we face in our faith, our thoughts, and our choices. The biggest mistake people make is either fearing it too much or ignoring it completely. But when we understand that the real battle is about staying close to God and living in His truth, we begin to fight the right way. If there is one thing to remember, it is this: you do not fight for victory, you fight from victory. Jesus has already won the battle on the cross, and as long as you stand firm in Him, the enemy cannot defeat you. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced spiritual warfare in your life? What struggles have you faced that felt like more than just physical challenges? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it together. And if this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs it. Until next time, stay strong, stay faithful, and keep fighting the good fight of faith.